Hi, I'm Bob Dailey, and this is Gulf Coast Gardening with Nature's Way Resources. Today we're here with Tim Burns, who is with Burns Tech. Is that the name of
Correct.
your company? And Tim is a wise guy, and the wise guys stand for Water Irrigation Systems Evaluation. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Tim.
So basically what we do is we come out and visit with homeowners that are typically having issues with their water consumption or issues with coverage. And basically our goal is to help people be more conservative with their water, help them be more educated with how their system operates, and at the end of the day, save water.
So we see that irrigation is probably one of the biggest wasters of water, and to have people direct their irrigation, their sprinklers and everything in the right direction, make sure they're fixed. Is that some of the stuff you do?
Absolutely.
And then you also help them with their controller, right? Because I know a lot of people don't know how to set their
Right.
controller.
That's one of the primary things we spend time on is proper scheduling, and knowing how long to run certain zones makes a huge difference as far as the health of everything and how much water you're using.
Now, what's the cost for this to the homeowner?
It's a free service. It's provided by their local mud district.
So their water district will contact you, or the resident contacts you? How does that work?
It can be both. Where they're having an issue with, they either contacted the mud, or they, word of mouth, they were referred to me by another homeowner.
Right. And you do have a website that people can go on as well and fill out the information.
Correct.
So after you do your evaluation, what happens?
Their report gets emailed back to them, and that's something that was reviewed with them prior to them receiving it, so they are aware of what it is that they're seeing when they get that back.
Now, if they have a problem with their irrigation system, what happens? Do you fix it, or do they get another irrigator?
Well, I certainly provide that avenue for them, and I do follow up with a lot of homeowners on repairs. So,
that's a kind of different thing than the irrigation evaluation.
Correct. Yeah, it's completely separate.
How many of these do you do? I mean, I looked at it. Looked like there were a lot of them.
Yeah, typically we do about 5 or 6 a day, just to have enough time to spend with everybody. The evaluation process usually is about an hour to an hour and a half per homeowner, and we usually do this about 4 days a week.
Wow. Okay, so you're pretty busy just doing this.
Correct.
Can you walk us around and show us about this operation and what exactly you're doing?
Sure. What I'm looking at here is areas where either certain types of plant material might need more water, or certainly areas that need less water, preventing putting water in places we don't need it.
Right.
The other thing is, if you notice, the water seems to be generating a fog, which is a real common issue with most people's sprinkler systems. It's caused by overpressuring. So these are different things that we point out in the reports and give people recommendations on to improve those. All of this plays into how efficient the system runs.
So this fog here is actually, most of it's evaporating, right?
Correct. It's not distributing the water where it's being intended to be distributed.
Sure.
And it's one of the biggest reasons for waste is, which people probably don't realize, the pressure really impacts how efficient the system runs.
So a good, efficient system will help the homeowner save water, but it also helps the homeowner save money, because we know the price of water keeps going up.
Absolutely. And healthier plants.
And healthier plants. I see there's several sprinklers over here. One of them is watering that big plant over there, but I don't see this plant getting a lot of water. Is there something you can do about that, or make suggestions?
Absolutely. And some of it may come down to, if it's the type of plant that doesn't need much water, pointing that out and saying, not every part of the yard's got to get absolute ideal coverage. But in pockets where maybe the coverage is poor, we might suggest adding a smaller head or moving some heads around to get better coverage.
Sure.
Sometimes raising heads or lowering heads are the right approach in certain circumstances.
Well, let me ask you something. How long should a person run this sprinkler to get enough water on the plants?
Well, it may depend on the plant material. This bed is really well shaded. Trees play a big part into how long a zone might need to run. If it doesn't get a whole lot of sun, we might not expect that it would lose a lot of water to evaporation. So there's a handful of variables that really play into how long a zone might need to run for.
So this bed here, this planting bed, probably would use less water than the lawn.
Absolutely.
Now, you also help people with your controller.
Correct.
Can we go look at that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Tim, we have a controller here. Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is one of your more common controllers you're going to find. It does everything that, as far as our recommendations go, with setting up proper days, proper run times. We talk about cycle and soaking the system. This also has an option to do that, as well as a function that most controllers have, as well as it's called seasonal adjustment, where we give some recommendations for modifying your schedule throughout the season.
Sure. Well, I know that a lot of homeowners don't have trouble scheduling their controllers, and you show them how to actually
absolutely.
do this.
So we usually spend and pretty much the majority of our appointment time is spent at the controller, because it's an electronic device. There's a lot to it, and knowing how to program it correctly makes a huge difference as far as both the health and the cost of using the health of the plants and the cost of using the water.
You mentioned something about cycle and soak.
Yes.
What is that? Tell us about it.
So this is a process where we slow down the application of the water. So instead of running the system for 30 minutes on a single zone, which likely will cause runoff, and we're not really getting all that water into the soil. So the cycle is cycle it for a half amount of time, soak it for an hour, come back, put the remaining half down. It's what we prefer as a more efficient way of applying the water.
So like the second cycle would allow capillary action to that, what they call a wetting front, and allow that water to soak deep into the soil.
Absolutely.
And have better plant roots for that.
Absolutely. You see healthier plants.
Yeah, healthier plants and lawn as well.
Absolutely. And certain soil types, it's very difficult to get that water to soak in.
Right.
That process just helps get that water into the roots where the plants need it.
Tim, I want to thank you again for being here and showing us how to do this. I know you're very busy, so we'll let you get on to your work, and hope to see you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
This is Gulf Coast Gardening. Stay tuned for more with Nature's Way Resources. And remember, you can come out to Nature's Way Resources for all your gardening and plant needs.